again, it's Marissa, your occupational therapist at Robert Shear Preschool. Today we're going to talk about beading. So, beading is a really great activity for kids to work on using two hands together, and it's also really great because they are going to have to practice using their fingertips to push the string through the bead. So, let's talk about different ways that you can help your child be successful with beading. The first one is looking at what are we using to string the beads. So what I will do sometimes is start with something that's a little bit more stable and firm, like a straw. So the nice thing about a straw is it's not going to be bending all over the place while they're trying to put the bead on, and it's one less thing that they have to worry about managing. So for example, with a bead and a straw, you might be able to just slide it on and without worrying about this moving around or anything like that. If your child is having a little bit of difficulty with using the two hands together, you can even offer the straw and say, oh, here, can you put it on here? And try to see if they'll put it on for you. The next option, which is a little bit harder, is a pipe cleaner. So with a pipe cleaner, it is still pretty firm. As you can see, it's holding its shape. However, as they put it on, it might wiggle around a little bit. So it's going to challenge that hand-eye coordination. So with the pipe cleaner, it'll be a little bit trickier, but it'll still give them some support. The last one is using a regular string. So with the regular string, obviously it's floppy, it's moving around. So when they're putting the string into the bead, it's going to be a little bit more tricky for them to manage. So sometimes if they're holding it closer, that's great, but then they're really going to have to use those fingers like this to push it all the way through to the other side. On the other hand, some kids will hold their string all the way at the top and then it's flopping around and they can't get it in. So just encourage them to kind of hold at the bottom and then push through. Another thing with the string is because it's a little floppier, sometimes it doesn't come all the way out and you might need to cue them to, oh, look, it's on the other side, let's pull. So that way they pull it all the way through. So let's talk about beads. So sometimes big beads are easier and sometimes big beads are harder. If we are using regular string, sometimes big beads can be a little bit trickier because, like I was showing a second ago, when you're putting it in the hole, it doesn't automatically pop out the other side. So you really have to use your fingers to keep pushing it through. On the other hand, the little blocks, I don't even really have to push it through that much and it's already on the other side. So there's two different options. With the bigger blocks, the only thing with those is that when your child is holding them, it is going to be a little easier to hold since it is a bigger block. Whereas the little blocks or little beads that you're using, if they're smaller, it might be hard for them to kind of hold on to with their fingers if they're still developing that fine motor coordination. So just a food for thought, you guys can practice with different sizes of beads and see what works best for your child. If you guys have any other questions about beading or different ways that you guys can work on this skill, please leave comments below.